Oh, hello, and welcome to Prediction Movie Review. Hey guys, my name is Dylan. Nowadays, we get so many sequels, prequels, and reboots. And even when we do get new movies, they just follow generic stories, tropes, and the biggest flaw of them all, marketing that spoils the movie. Armed with only a trailer and the first part of a movie, we'll pause to make predictions on what we think will happen the rest of the way, and then check back in at the end to see how we did. Mark Wahlberg has one of the most fascinating career paths ever. Boy band, underwear model, action star, dramatic actor, and my personal favorite, the I'm the serious guy in a funny movie, therefore making me the funny guy. What a wild ride. And what I can tell from his latest outing, it is supposed to be a mix of all of that? Question mark? I only hope the title of the movie isn't a description for how long it feels like to watch this. It's the Prediction Movie Review for Infinite.
You are an infinite.
I'm sorry, run that back one more time?
You are an infinite.
You're an infant? Like a child? Well, yes you are, little Marky Mark. But seriously, that's what I heard the first time, but based off the title of the movie, I think the word he is trying to say is infinite.
Evan Macaulay, diagnosed with schizophrenia at 14. After carving the words, "Look inside," into your chest.
Yeah, that's a touch hardcore even for me. When I was 14 going through my goth and you just don't get me mom phase, I just listened to a lot of 3 Days Grace and wore some shitty bracelets that I thought were cool.
Hello, old friend.
Wait, that's how you greet your friends? Couldn't you lead with like a hug or one of those things that guys do where they look like they're coming in for like a high five or a handshake, but then they hold on and pull you in and pat you on the back? I hate that.
You're not crazy. You never have been.
I'm not so sure about that. I don't know any sane person who gets up at 2:30 a.m., somehow golfs in a half hour, works out twice a day, and eats at 7 different times. I do one of those things, and I think it's pretty obvious as to which one. Pardon me for thinking this is just Fast and the Furious, except for they can't die. Oh wait, that's just any Fast and the Furious since the third one. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and sign up for a 7-day free trial of Paramount Plus, which I will hopefully remember to cancel. Trailer done, now on to the first part of the movie, and then we'll come back and make some predictions. What I've got out of the first, 40 minutes of Infinite is this. Yeah, not much. There is some egg thingy, and Evan can't remember anything from his past lives. Okay. I was honestly about to stop to make the predictions and had absolutely nothing to go off of and was kind of panicking a little bit. But then, thankfully, at the 41-minute mark, they finally explain what the egg does and how Bathurst is trying to wipe the world so that he doesn't have a body to reincarnate it. Cool. I mean, not cool, but cool that I finally know what this movie's about. It's too bad it took nearly half the runtime to explain that. Anywho, I have a good chunk of this movie still to watch, so let's not waste any more time and make our predictions. Like how this movie took a long time to get going, it finally clicked for me, and I probably should have picked up on this much sooner, but Dylan O'Brien's character in the opening scene is pretty clearly Evan in the present day. To go along with that, the woman in the car who he yelled "look inside" to is going to be Nora. Seeing as Evan doesn't have his memories, Nora and the group will put him in that water chamber we see in the trailer, and that is how they shock his system and unlock his memories. Once that's done, he will remember everything, and to fully test him, and I do take every chance I can to make this prediction, there will be a sports training montage to show him regaining all of his skills. That wall in Bathurst Place must have something to do with other infinites. I think it's either a way for him to power the egg, that or it's just to assure they don't stop him. Look inside is a clue to where the egg is. Evan didn't know what was going on when he was a teenager, but that was him having a vision explaining where it is. The group will decide they need to go after Bathurst in order to stop him and save the world. That plan will not go how they think it will, and one or more members will end up killed or captured. Evan, we know in his past life, was a master swordsmaker. The sword holds a special importance to Evan, and that will be his weapon of choice and ultimately how he defeats Bathurst. Speaking of Bathurst, there is no way his egg will detonate. It looks like him and Evan have a fight on the plane in the trailer, so that's going to be the finale, and he will ultimately be killed, and Evan will save the day. My hero! There you have it, my expert predictions. And by expert, I do mean this movie seems to be going down a very predictable path, and so I made my predictions based on that. Was this idiot right about any of these predictions? Does Bathurst wipe out all of humanity? Will I be wearing the same hat in just a minute? And most importantly, will Infinite be an enjoyable movie experience the rest of the way? Find out next time on Prediction Movie Review. By next time, I mean like, just give me 6 seconds. We'll be right back. I find a lot of movies lately have this moment where if one thing happened, the movie would just be done and it would be 15 minutes long. Infinite had that moment, or actually should I say weapon, right there all along. Bathurst has created a gun where if an Infinite is shot with it in the head, it steals their soul, which he then stores on a wall so they can never reincarnate. Stay with me on this one. The guy who created that weapon is trying to wipe out all of humanity because he doesn't want to reincarnate. Problem solved. But we have a movie that has to happen, and happen it did. And I have to say, I did quite well with my predictions. The only thing I was incorrect about was thinking that Evan, Nora, and the crew were the ones who initiated going after Bathurst. Rather, he goes after them to try to catch Evan, but lucky for them, they had just left to go and meet the artisan. That's it. Everything else I had predicted happened. Dylan O'Brien, or should I say Treadway, was Evan and Nora was the lady in the car. Jason Mantzoukas is the artisan, who, by the way, does not get enough love. He was great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then he just does a slew of voice acting gigs, which he's great in, so it was nice to see him in person. They go to him to intentionally drown Evan and have his life, or should I say lives, flash before his eyes and unlock his memories, and of course it works. Prior to that, we did get ourselves a good old-fashioned sports training montage. Bathurst was collecting souls, that's what was in those blue boxes, all to assure they don't stop his plan. Again, use the gun on yourself, find someone you trust to hide the chip, and you never reincarnate. Why are villains so dumb? Look inside was a extremely literal meaning of where he hid the egg. It was inside Treadway's body all along. Treadway, Evan, and the teenager who Evan has reincarnated as, they love their swords. Evan uses it to fight Bathurst and also uses it to open the box to make sure it doesn't go off. And because of that, the world is saved. And Bathurst gets shot with his own gun, Evan drowns, Nora blows up the house with all the chips, and we see that they have all reincarnated. Before we wrap up, I had some thoughts on Infinite. I guess my main takeaway is this. The premise of the movie is really interesting. I just wish that was the end of that thought. Look, this took a long time to get going, or even just to explain what the purpose of all this was. A slow start, and when this did get going, it just didn't hit any high notes for me. When the reveals came or there were some big action sequences, I'll be honest, I might have been on my phone a time or two. Cool premise aside, the writing, holy shit the writing, was some of the dumbest I've ever heard. This was an actual quote from a character in a scene that was very intense and they were trying to be dramatic.
Faith! Blah, blah, blah! Faith!
Don't get me wrong, it had an eclectic cast, it was a neat idea, and it left it wide open for sequels and prequels, which I actually think would be much cooler to see. I'm sure that was exactly what Paramount is planning. One small problem. Congrats, you just killed off every major actor in this thing. And yes, they reincarnated, but you've already shown us they reincarnate in a different body. Overall, I would say just save yourself the time of having to sign up for Paramount Plus. Once you've watched this average action movie, what are you gonna do? Stick around to watch the reboot of iCarly? Do you have a movie that you want to see a prediction movie review for? Obviously, I can't have seen the movie in order to make this work, but leave your suggestions in the comments below. Lastly, I predict that you will like the video and subscribe, and that's appreciated. Thanks for watching.